Now, I like baseball. And for the first time, this is opening season, I didn't watch any of it. It's very difficult for me now to watch it. I'm not a believer in boycotts. But for the CEOs of Delta and the CEO of Coca-Cola to denounce this law after first, at least in the part of Coca-Cola, they praised it, said they worked with the lawmakers to make sure it was going to be fair. This is really getting serious. It's getting to the point now where I feel almost about sports the way I feel about these left-wing actors. Can't watch them. Just can't do it. Ben Affleck once said it's hard for him to watch a Republican actor whom he knows he would not like if he met him one-on-one. How do you think we feel? Cutting on television, watching players with Black Lives Matter slogans on their jerseys on the court. An organization that was founded by Marxists, trained Marxists, their term, not mine. An organization that opposes what they call the Western nuclear family as simply a construct of Western civilization, a movement that is based on a lie that the police are engaging in systemic racism. This is just stunning. You know, I'm watching the Derek Chauvin trial, and Yamiche Alcindor, one of the left-wing so-called reporters, she said that the Chauvin trial is not just about whether Derek Chauvin murdered George Floyd. No, it's about voting rights. It's about whether blacks in America will be treated fairly. I'm paraphrasing. I'll play the exact quote later on in the show. So I'm looking at this trial. The judge is white, but he's clearly a fair guy. The lead prosecutor is black. The mayor of the city of Minneapolis is a left-wing Jew. The police chief is black. He's the one who fired Chauvin and the other 3 officers. So 4 of the jurors are black. So to Miss Alcindor, who I know listens to my show every day, in the event that this trial has a result that you don't like, is it possible, just possible, that maybe, just maybe, a juror or more than one juror saw this trial differently? Is it completely unreasonable that Officer Chauvin used a tactic that he thought was a legitimate tactic, especially given what he thought was the threat posed by bystanders who were yelling and screaming and cursing at him? Is it just possible that one juror may feel that the death of George Floyd was because of his drugs and the fentanyl in his system, as opposed to the knee being a substantial cause? Is it possible that one juror may see it that way, or more than one? And if so, are you going to consider this to be a miscarriage of justice? Or is it possible, just possible, that the juror or more than one juror may see it differently? Again, we ought to be looking for justice, not vengeance. We don't need any more Bessie Casses on any jurors, the woman who 14 years after she found O.J. Simpson not guilty despite an avalanche of guilt, of evidence of guilt. We don't need anybody who says 14 years later, the reason I found him not guilty was because of Rodney King. And 90% of the black jurors felt the same way. We don't need that. And for those who are yelling and screaming about systemic racism, when are you going to be satisfied? At what point? L.A., back-to-back black police chiefs. including during the O.J. Simpson case. Accusations of police misconduct, manipulating evidence, planning evidence. So he did a full investigation to find out whether anybody had done anything. His report came out before the trial concluded. LAPD not guilty of planning evidence, moving evidence, fabricating evidence, anything like that. It did not matter. And when you have back-to-back black police chiefs, as we have had here in L.A., and when you look at the composition of the LAPD, it reflects the composition of the city. And still, Jackie Lacey was accused by Black Lives Matter of engaging in decisions that they thought were unfair to black people. And as a result, the first and only black female DEA was then defeated by George Gascon, who later on complained about quitting the State Association of District Attorneys because they were too top-heavy with white men, having defeated the first black female L.A. County DA. You cannot make this up. 888-971-SAGE. Beverly in Greenville, South Carolina, has an interesting point to make about Major League Baseball. Beverly, please do not leave town. I am Larry Elder.